Martin, big news involving Kasper Schmeichel this week. Just maybe start by giving us your reaction to that, if you could, please.
Yeah, I must admit I was surprised at the severity of it. I thought that I know that he was having injections to play some of the games, and while that's not a great remedy, I must admit I didn't realise how bad it was, and disappointed to hear the news, I must admit.
So did something change recently then? Because I remember last week you thought, well, he had trained, you thought there was perhaps a chance he could be involved.
Absolutely, I'd sort of come down to coming to train. I thought he was getting back from that, but it was disappointing to hear. I think just after the Rangers game, of which he wasn't involved in the first one, he got an injection. I think that I don't think that went terribly well. He was telling me, and it caused a lot of inflammation more than anything else. In fact, it did the exact opposite. But he was making decent progress at the time. Then he's gone back, and to find out that it's just too bad to continue. So I know we've all played with injuries. I know your next question will say, well, but I didn't. I genuinely didn't know that it was as severe as that, and it was like a career-threatening one. And probably because of his age, things like that, people will immediately think that that's it. But yeah, I was disappointed to hear the news, got to say.
On that, I take it that players will maybe try and play through things that they want to play, they want to contribute. And is that what's happened over the last few months to his detriment?
I think that's exactly what has happened. I think that that's the case. And we've all done this, I've been guilty of that myself. 100-odd years ago, trying to play through an injury to play in a European Cup final, things like this here. So you do that. I didn't. Young Sinisalo's come in and done very, very well, kept his place in the team, and I think that I just really, again, reiterate, disappointed to hear the news and surprised myself that it was as severe as that. So, but I'm no medical expert. And it was disappointing.
Did you know Kasper was planning to announce it in that way? It seems like it caught a lot of people by surprise.
No, I didn't think that Kasper was going to announce it, but he was with his dad at the time, and I think the dad was telling him, "You must announce it here today." I'm joking. I am joking. So I think that Timmer Physio was aware that the scan had shown up much worse than we thought, but so I wasn't expecting to hear that. I didn't hear it firsthand, but I heard it secondhand. But it is what it is.
It seems as if it sort of stemmed back from this coming international break last year. In your first interim spell of the season, were you aware of any injury issues he had at that point?
Of his shoulder. Yeah, my first little spell here. Yeah, I was, yes. Yeah, but he was, as I said to you, you can get injections. You want to keep going. I thought he was really terrific in my first spell here, the 6 or 7 weeks that I was involved. He made some big saves in games. Go back even to the very first game that we played. He made a save. Otherwise, Falkirk would have taken the lead. And then he made a save against Rangers, kept us in it, and then made a really in Feyenoord, really good save at an important stage of the game. Big saves for us, so he did really well. And but like anything else, you go from game to game. And but I didn't think that. Even then, while I knew that there was a problem with his shoulder, which he had had for some considerable time, again, I didn't think it was as severe as it's turned out to be.
Had there been any communication at that point that, I know things seem to have worsened in the last week or a couple of weeks anyway, was there any suggestion at that point that you might need to undergo surgery possibly earlier in the season to then...
Well, hindsight, great thing. I don't, that I don't know. I genuinely don't know. He had as far as I know, that he had a problem roughly about the same time last year, but it came through that. And ended up having an excellent season for the football club. Yet I wasn't aware of. Certainly my first spell, I knew that he had a problem with his shoulder, but he seemed to get through the games, and while you just don't want to flog someone to death, he was doing fine, and he didn't think that it was a major problem at that time.
Laterally, there was a few sort of mistakes that he'd made in games. In hindsight, would you think that continually using injections to play rather than fix the problem, has that hindered his performances, the team's results?
Well, the results. I think that I think you're probably referring really to the Stuttgart game as much as anything else. In terms of results, the results have been fine, both with him in the side and obviously with young Sinisalo in the team. So they've been fine. He came back. He played. He being Casper. Played after Stuttgart. He played against Hibs, made a big save for us. We didn't win the game, but he did make a big save for us to prevent Hibs from taking the lead to begin with, before they eventually did do. And in answer to your question, one doesn't know. I know that that throughout my time as a player and as a manager, players have played through the pain barrier, and while you don't, hopefully, that is something that you don't think is going to be a wrecking of one's career. You'd think, well, okay, we should try and get through this for a game or two and see how we go. But that's all. When it became apparent just recently that it was as severe, as I said to you, it was a surprise to me.
Gordon referenced how it was announced on CBS in America. Were you happy with that? How that was announced to the fans?
Well, if that was the first announcement, I would have preferred to have heard it myself, And way back in my time, if you didn't report it first of all to the football club, you could actually get a fine. So I need to go and check to see how his contract is. It's a really good point now. We could do with some of that money.
So you'll have a word in his ear?
Yeah, absolutely. Mm.
So were those assessments done externally then, rather than...
That would be a double blow for him. Career finish and a fine.
Were those assessments done...
Thanks for reminding me.
You're welcome.
Not at all. Really good. Come and sit up here. Keep me going.
Were those assessments done externally then, rather than with the club's medical staff?
No, the club knew. The club were aware of the test that he was doing. So
were you surprised then that wasn't communicated to you in any way, the results of it, if that was the first you were hearing of it?
Well, it happened rather quickly, so believe it or not, sometimes I can be incommunicado, I don't know, I could be somewhere and not actually wanting to hear some news or other, It's usually, sometimes.
Labelled him selfish, putting Denmark before Celtic, not mentioning Celtic, and when he announced it on CBS. Your thoughts on that?
I like Chris a lot, but not that much. Chris he's entitled to his own opinion, but it's no serious issue for me. And I don't know whether he'd have been in a position to know that it was all about Denmark, So I don't know. I haven't spoken to Chris. I will do now. Yeah. Tell him to mind his own business. No, it's not. He's entitled to an opinion.
Can I ask elsewhere? We saw Alison Johnson on the grass this afternoon. How can you give an update on him and just general squad health for anyone else as well, if you don't mind?
Well, Lance, honestly, this is, I'm going to change profession. I'm going to become the medic here, so I will have you. And then Tim can come and answer the football questions, and get on with it, Yeah, he's doing really well. Yeah. He's really, really doing very, very well indeed. His national side want him to go for a week over there. We, at this minute, would probably prefer him to stay. I don't think it's going to be a big issue as long as he's training somewhere. We need to have some sort of bounce games or something like that there for him to play in here as soon as possible. He's doing great, and by all accounts, and I've only seen from a distance because you boys will tell me better than I would know, but apparently he's a really decent player. Really decent player, so that's big news for us if he could come back for the part of the run-in anyway. So that would be great.
So you're looking after the international break then for him to be fully integrated, or is it still a wee bit period after that?
I'm hoping that wouldn't be that long afterwards, really. So if he does decide that, and Tim, I need to ask. I'm sorry, lads. What happens here is that I should really get an update before I walk in here. It does help, and just flying things off the cuff as I've tried to do for most of my life, to tell you the truth. So I will find out. He's doing fine. I'm not genuinely trying to hide anything because it's an interesting one because the cameras are allowed in here, so everybody knows who's training with us anyway. So I might ban that for now. I'll think about that for next week.
In terms of Alistair being called up by Canada, is that a decision that's still to be made?
No, it's not. I think that what they want is because I think he's got a good influence as well too. Apparently he's pretty influential around the dressing room here, but he's good, and I think that they just wanted to see what he's like, how they're doing. I don't mind really, but I don't think he genuinely minds either, one way or the other. Canada, I'm sure he would like to go and see how things are because they're in the World Cup, and he wouldn't mind meeting up with some of his teammates for a day or two. But now that he is getting close to being involved with us on a sort of a permanent basis, then it might be better if he does the work here. But listen, lads, honestly, if in 3 days' time or 4 days' time you find him somewhere in Quebec or Ontario or somewhere like that there, you come back and say that manager doesn't even have a clue where his players are, and you would be right.
In terms of Arne Engels, is he?
Oh, good Lord. Jesus. Oh.
Ask about Callum McGregor first.
Oh, lads, where is it? Arnie's doing really fine. I think he is somewhere in North Africa at this minute, doing some rehab. He is. He's in North Africa. I think he moved from North Africa to southern Mexico. Yeah, but he's doing rehab somewhere, and hopefully he's around. Yeah. If you just give me 2 minutes, I'll go up and check to see. Let me phone him.
We did see him actually.
Pardon?
We did see him.
Oh, you saw him? Oh, he's back. He's back. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. Anybody else?
Callum McGregor.
Brilliant. Well, Callum, he did his rehab. In somewhere in Lanarkshire. So luckily we kept him. He's fine. He's going to be fine, and he's come through this. We'll see how he is tomorrow. That was his first real day with the team, but he's raring to go.
How do you feel about Dundee United and the state of their pitch?
Which is what I thought we were here about. That was remarkable. But anyway, go on.
Difficult pitch, difficult surface, and a difficult team to play against. Your thoughts on United?
Just exactly that. Absolutely. I think that a really difficult game for us. We know that anyway. So as long as we're mentally prepared for that, that's absolutely fine. I'm sure even with a couple of days sun, I don't think the pitch is going to improve that much. Yeah, and I think it'll be obviously the same for both sides. So we just get on with it. It's a big game. So, but as I've just done an interview earlier, there'll be plenty of twists and turns between now and the end of the season.